In a world of dungeons, dragons, and devious DMs, 4 adventurers set out to save the mysterious land of Blaelflow.
I'm Frank Bunty, Dwarven Paladin and all-round badass. I like nothing more than righting wrongs and smiting evil.
I'm Bonarail, a half-elf rogue that'll rob you blind and mess you up.
I'm Lord Sugar, a human wizard noble. I'm rich, I'm better than everyone, and I set fire to everything.
I'm Draco Justice, Dragonborn Monk. For when justice calls, who will answer? I will. I'm Draco Justice.
And I'm Doddy, the resident DM. I'll be throwing everything at these guys, including the kitchen sink. Ooh, a mimic kitchen sink.
Nerd OD&D from the Nod Network. Listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, and wherever else you get podcasts.
Why has he not actually grown one?
Dan, I don't know.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Nerd OD podcast with your gracious hosts, myself, Dan, and that guy.
That's me.
Yay.
I am Reg.
And that's it. It happened, Reg. It actually happened.
Yeah, I can't believe it's been, 7 years, maybe?
Yeah.
Of doing podcasts, and it's the first Nerd OD one that we've missed out on.
Yeah. And do you know what I really liked? So, yeah, I was just... I don't know. It was one of those days. It got to the time recording, and it just didn't really feel like I would be. I don't want to say not into it, but you know what I mean. Just sometimes you're just like, do you know what? I don't want to be, on. I just want to chill. So I did that instead. Can't remember what I watched. Something terrible, probably on TV instead. But I like that previously, whenever I've not been on it, you guys have made a point of me not being there and being like, whoa, Dan's not on, oh, this is going to be a mess, oh, what's going to happen, oh, but Dan did do this, oh, there's no list to go because Dan's not here. But you didn't even reference that I wasn't there. It's just, he just did it. It was great.
No, I caught up the first 20 minutes.
Oh, really?
No, we made one passing joke.
All right, fair enough.
That was it. But because we did it, and I think Sean was eating something at the same time, so it just it was horrendous. So I made the point of making the note at the time, and I was like, "Well, that's unfortunate. It's the one joke of the whole podcast."
Oh well, yeah.
Happy days. But no, it's good to have you back, sir, because now I get to talk. It's always one of those things when Dave and Sean are on together, I feel like you in the pods when there's more than two of us, because you just want to talk, but I'm like, oh yeah, and this, and this, and this, and this. And then the next thing I know, it's like an hour's past, I'm like, sorry, Dan was here, people. And last week, that was me. I think I managed to get in about 12 words.
Fair enough. It was good. I enjoyed it. I know most of the other guys don't bother listening to the ones that they're not on. So, it's nice to know we've got at least one listener, and last week that was me.
Nice.
You're
welcome. And to be fair, you're one of the most important ones, because now you can take time off whenever you need, and everything will be in safe hands.
Oh, it's great that you edit it. I love it. Reg has taken over editing duty in the last sort of month or so. Just because
it sounds so much better.
Wow.
It doesn't. I can never get the intro right whenever you're listening to it. This song at the beginning for some reason.
No, it was good last week. Reg.
Nice.
It was good. It all lined up pretty nicely. Yeah. We just need to make sure we have something particularly entertaining that you can cut out and put at the beginning. So it's,
Yeah, that was the hardest part last week.
Because you didn't talk.
Because I was just like, oh my god, we talked for about 40 minutes about Game Pass, and I was like, there's nothing entertaining about Game Pass.
Yeah, I had that with Sean. I saw Sean the week before last, I can't remember. Well, just before the sort of tier 3 sort of thing came in. And yeah, that was pretty much, do you know what? In fact, 90% of what he talked about on the podcast is what we talked about when I saw him.
Right.
He was talking about, he was showing me Game Pass and how it was only £21 a month, and for the record, that is pretty tempting. I wish if there was something like that for PlayStation and there was stock, I would probably get one, but yeah, it's pretty reasonable. But we won't go into it. He said enough about that last week.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then what was the other thing? Did he mention his car or something like that? I can't remember. But there was 2 or 3 things he mentioned, and I was like, oh yeah, I've had this conversation in real life with him. This is weird.
Well, the nice thing for you is you could skip it.
Yeah.
The unfortunate thing for us is we couldn't.
But I didn't. I still listened to it all.
Nice.
Yep. And I didn't speed it up either. Actually,
Nice.
I think I did at a certain point. But anyway.
Well,
How's things anyway,
I do
Reg?
want to reference just one thing,
Okay.
which also ties into how I am as well.
Okay.
I'm good. So you did a nice knock and run at my house the other day.
Right before I'm not allowed, basically.
Yeah.
The hours before, about 12 hours before you. Reg lives in Wales, for the record, and Wales is like a law unto itself.
It is. We are locked down.
Yeah, officially locked down.
Locked down.
Yeah. So let me just clarify with it, because I'm sort of out the loop on what's going on in Wales, but I've seen some pictures, and it's like the old lockdown, right? Everything is closed apart from supermarkets.
Yeah, but this time round, you're not allowed to buy non-essential items,
even in the shops that are selling essential items.
Yeah.
So previously, you'd go into Asda and you'd still, you queue for 20 minutes or whatever. You'd get in there and you'd go, all right, just before I go and buy my fruit and veg, let me just have a look in the DVD section. Oh, let's buy some Lego. Oh, let's go and buy a T-shirt. Now that is all covered up, all right?
Yeah, so it's so you don't want to drag this whole podcast thing down around it, but
I think it's interesting
because it's one of those things. So as I think I've mentioned on quite a few of these pods, it's Oliver's birthday. Literally by the time this one's out, this will be the last one before his birthday.
2 years old.
It'll be 2 years old. It's crazy how quick this has come. And Tesco have got an amazing sale on at the minute of all their toys.
All right.
And it's like there's a Paw Patrol pack where it's Chase and Marshall with these 2 boats, and you get a whale with it. And it looks awesome, and it should be
this is relevant. You're talking about collectibles here, Rich.
And it should be like 25 quid, is what it should be. And it was 11 quid. And I was like, oh, amazing, right, tomorrow we'll pop in and grab that. Because we were literally rushing because we had him in the car and we didn't obviously want to see what he was getting. So I was like, I'll pop down. And obviously we knew lockdown was happening, so that was fine. But Tesco's is up the road in the Welsh part.
Exactly.
So
last time it was fine. They were like, well, look, if you're open, then fine, just be open for everything.
Yeah, just be open. But I walked in there and they cut off the escalator to go upstairs where all the toys and the clothes and DVDs and music and TVs and all that is. Yeah, and that's the thing. Ash wanted tights because obviously it's cold outside now. So she was like, I need tights now. You just can't buy tights anywhere.
Yeah, how are clothes not in some
essential
way, essential?
Yeah,
it's crazy. Yeah,
this is
alcohol
the one thing I don't understand. So you're allowed to go to work, but you've got to wear your summer clothes if you haven't already got winter clothes. One of the girls was on the news before. She went to go and buy some sanitary products from Tesco's, and apparently they're not essential.
No way.
So yeah, so it's crazy. But I walked in and they were literally taking off all the toys, and I was like, "Can I grab that before you replace it with all the alcohol sales we got on?" And the woman was like, "No, sorry, you can't buy it. It's non-essential." And even stuff like all the colouring pencils and stuff to keep the kids entertained in lockdown. No, you can't buy them. They're not essentials. Books, like colouring books, story books, anything like that, you can't purchase. And it's mind blowing, like the stuff you can buy and the stuff you can't buy.
Yeah.
But the one thing we really wanted was the Paw Patrol toys, and we couldn't buy them. So I was like, right, I'm gonna be dead cheeky and break the law. So I went to Tesco's in Chester instead.
Okay.
And they didn't have anything in because it was a little crappy Tesco's, and I was like, oh no. I broke the law for no reason, so I would have got fined, and I haven't even got what I wanted to get.
Oh dear.
But for reference to much of a weird situation I'm in, so if you walk to the end of my road and you turn left, you're in England. If you walk to the end of my road and turn right, you're in Wales. So it's just like
the best one is, and this does make it relevant to things we like to talk about. So Chester is a city very close to the Welsh border, and there's a theatre and cinema and library and things called the Story House, and they every year they do like a sort of an open air cinema thing. So this year they've teamed up with Chester Football Club, and at Chester Football Club ground they've set up an open air cinema, a drive-through cinema. Okay. However, the football ground is right on the border.
Yeah.
The toilets are on the Welsh side. So if you are coming from England, if you live in England and you come and watch a film, you basically, on the day this happened, on the Friday, they showed something thinking this will be fine because, you know, we're on the border, it'll be all right. Police said, no, you English, you cannot use the toilets. Absolutely mental. So to get around it, they've had to put in porta potties on the English side.
It's just crazy because if we're in Wales, we're not even supposed to be going to England. So
no, you can't you can't get to it without driving into England. You can't drive to it from the Welsh side. It's crazy. I entirely get it, and I think it won't be long until England joins them if they've got any sense. Just do it again. Let's just sort this out. Let's get the numbers down again. However, closing shops and restaurants and pubs makes sense because then people haven't got a reason to go out. I don't think anyone goes, oh, let's go for a day shopping at Asda. You know, no one just goes to one shop. It was pretty much just like, let's go down to Asda and get our weekly shop and then let's go home. And that was it. So it seems crazy that they're like, right, this shop has the capability to take care of everything else that people kind of might not be absolutely essential, but you need something to keep your kid entertained. You need tights. You need sanitary products. Like, you need that new PlayStation 4 game that's just come out. Like, there's a shop there that's got the capability of doing it without expanding to the entire shop, like shopping high street or something. It's just crazy. Absolutely mental.
It really is, and I can't get my head around it. But thankfully, there's only like another week left of it for us.
It's 3 weeks, isn't it? I heard 3 weeks. It has to be 3 weeks.
It's 2 weeks.
Because it's got to be
at least sense, but it is.
It's got to be at least the 2 weeks, hasn't it? I at least when I heard the rumours of it happening before it happened, it was saying that it was a 3 week circuit break sort of thing. Thing is, I'm not entirely sure that it's stopping English people going to Wales, but maybe it does.
Like I was saying to you, it's a good when you did your drop off before the
So I didn't realise there'd be any kind of problem, and it's not like I did anything else. I just drove to yours and dropped off your PlayStation 4. Everyone at home will be happy to hear.
Yay!
Yeah,
because now I can talk about relevant stuff.
Well,
instead of Paw Patrol again.
Yeah, exactly. So and then I went home. So,
but if you would have done it literally 6 hours later, there's always police vans in the shopping park.
Yeah,
which you would need to pass to get home, and they're just doing random stops to be like, "Hey, where are you from?"
Yeah,
let's see. Which is
I'm
weird.
from just down the road. I am. In Wrexham.
The whole weird thing about
I used to live in Wales, and that was the worst Welsh accent.
It was. I thought you were
sorry.
Oh, man, quack.
Oh, quack. We'll quack.
I pay Flintshire, so I pay Wales council tax for this, but my driving license says Chester. So if I get stopped
but that's accurate because
I can be like, look, I'm in Chester. It's fine. I'm allowed in England.
I see.
So that's
and then
my
they
job.
they look at your actual address on the driving license. Do you mean it says you live in Chester?
Yes, it says
Right. Okay.
Road, Saltney Ferry, Chester.
Okay. Well, that's fair enough because parts of Saltney Ferry are Chester and parts aren't. So yeah, you probably get away with it.
Yeah,
And if you work in Chester, that's fine to go to, right?
Yes.
Okay. Interesting. Anyway, we've talked about this far too long.
So you did a drop off,
yes,
which was awfully kind of you. So Oliver went to bed because it was the weekend. So it was like 2 days after really horrendous thing. So my mind is completely gone. Oliver's got an ear infection. He's not really sleeping very well, so all days are blending into one at the minute. And I don't know what's happening because I'm not sleeping because he's not sleeping.
Well, at least you got your PlayStation back.
So you brought back the PlayStation. I left it in the bag downstairs, thinking, it's fine. And then I went, probably a little bit too much information, this guy, so I apologise. I went to the toilet, having a wee, and then Oliver just burst into the bathroom with the pad. And then was trying to catch my wee with the pad, and I was like, I'm trying to stop it. He's like, no. I was like, oh no. And I came out, and there was like game cases on the floor, and he's like, ooh, and like, oh god, no. It's like, I've had it back 2 minutes, and I don't even know what you've done to it now. But I put him to bed, and I was like, I'll have a quick look at Squadrons and see what that's like in VR, because if you listen to last week's pod, Dave absolutely loved Squadrons.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, go on then. I'll give it a go. And I spoke to my mate Paul, whose account it is that I've got it off, and he was saying it's the only VR game that he's ever played that's made him go nope, and take off the headset and be like, yeah, that's too much.
A lot, mate. In terms of motion sickness.
Yeah. So I was like, that's interesting. So I did the sensible thing of take off any aid that might help with motion sickness, just so I got the full feeling of what it would be like in doing that. And you know what? It was absolutely fine. I did not feel any variety of motion sickness, and it's a lot quicker, like more fast paced than the demo or the single mission VR mission you got in the Battlefront.
Okay, yeah.
But it is a proper flight sim, so it's also a fuck ton harder than the Battlefront mission. The Battlefront mission is something you could literally, anyone who's a Star Wars fan, you can pass them that controller and be like, welcome to your childhood. And they get to fly in an X-Wing and be like, oh my god, this is so easy to control. This is amazing. I can do this, I can do that. It took me the entire prologue, which is about a good 20 minutes, half hour, and the first mission to completely understand what the fuck it is I'm supposed to be doing, because each direction on the D-pad does different things. So it might be like put all power to engines, put all power to lasers, put all power to shield, and then like to thrust and stuff. So it's all well different, because if you have the power to engines, your lasers overheat really quick, your weapon, but if you put it to your weapons, then your shields aren't as good, and you're not as rapid as what you are because all your power's getting diverted. So trying to get everything into your head, as well as controlling the ship and in the middle of a dogfight, which is like so much faster, if that's a word, and so much more vast than the Battlefront mission. The Battlefront mission was like, here's a Star Destroyer, fly around that Star Destroyer, and kill some TIE fighters. Here's a huge fucking giant space station, and there's about 20,000 X-Wings. Go nuts. And I was like, holy shit. And it's like, here's 1,000 like Y-Wings and X-Wings when you go the Empire. So it's like, kill them. I'm like, right, fuck, here we go. And it just literally throws you in so deep, and I'm like, this is so hard. And I imagine it would be fun. I much preferred the Battlefront mission, I'm not going to lie to you.
Right, okay.
But I think it's because that was one of my first experiences of having the PlayStation VR, so that will always hold like a special place in my heart. But also because it was a fuck ton easier to control, and like the auto lock on stuff, which was like worked so much easier on that. But it was good, and I think the other reasons, because obviously Oliver was asleep at the time, I didn't want to get too involved into it, because I didn't want to. I knew I wasn't going to spend like a good couple of hours playing it like I would have done with every other VR game. So I was like, I've got like half an hour to 40 minutes before he's like, right, Dad, let's put the story on. I was like, Sam, let's just have a quick rag of this and see what it's like. And it would, I imagine if you've got the time, it would be brilliant to sit down and like proper focus on it and figure out how it all works. It doesn't look as nice as Battlefront, the VR mission on that, which everyone has stated, and you can dick around with the options to make it look not as blurry. But there was something about the tracking which just, I don't know, it just felt a bit off with it.
Right.
Like, I think if, like I said, if I had time to proper sit down and hone it in and dick around with it, I would probably be able to play it a lot more and appreciate it a lot more. But I did enjoy what I played so far. So yeah,
it's either, does it feel rushed? Because I've not seen a game that I thought would be so sort of high profile as this get announced and then have such a short time between announcement and release. Because it was, I mean, I'm not even sure it was 6 months ago that it was announced.
It doesn't feel rushed. I think the reason it didn't get much of a is because it is just a flight sim. It's not like that. I think they know it's a niche little market. Even if it is Star Wars, it is a niche little, if you're into flight sim and stuff. If it was like Battlefront where it's a FPS, then
I suppose it's not the in thing at the minute, is it?
RPGs and stuff. No, I was going to say it's just one of those that would be like, yeah, this will make us a lot of cash. But what I was saying to the guys is they're not supporting it at all. Like, that's it. They've done 2 updates and they moved on to another project now. So there's no more multiplayer. Not doing any more updates, patches, or anything like that. It's done now. That's it. I was like, wow. For something you're paying full price for as well. It's nice to have everything in the one package for once. So I know it sounds weird saying, why aren't we having more DLC? We should have DLC for this.
Yeah.
But it would be nice if you are dogfighting to have new planets to play in when you're doing it. Because this could be the game that would have made a shit ton of cash. Because the people that are in its fan base are hankering for more and already played through like the 4 levels and 2 game modes.
Yeah, that's it.
To death. And like, right, okay, let's move on to the next game now.
It was almost just like, okay, we're coming to the end of this generation. Everyone liked that Battlefront mission. Let's just get a standalone game out.
Yeah,
not spend much time on it, but come on.
If DICE would have done it, I think it would have been a lot better. But it is good, and the story mode looks awesome to it. I'm not going to lie, like the story mode and the cutscenes look beautiful. They really do look a lot better than the actual in-game. And the whole story looks like it's going to be quite an interesting story. But I think the other issue is it's a nightmare to set up, isn't it? The PSVR. That's not joke about it, but it genuinely takes, I reckon, longer to set up the PSVR than it did to actually play the game.
Yeah, okay, makes sense.
So you're just like, right, okay. And then you've got to undo it all and all that again and just get it all sorted. So I think it was just a bit of a rush job my end to fully appreciate it. So I wouldn't take it away from them. But at the same time, it was good. It's just wasn't the whole like, oh my God, this is the best feeling in the world ever. And I don't know if it's because you don't start off in the next wing. You start off in a TIE fighter and then you move to like a Y-wing or something.
Okay.
So you don't have that initial like, oh my God, look at this. And I think because you've already been in one and a really nice one, it's like, yeah, second nature now. It's cool. I've done this mission so many times that I know what it feels like sitting in the next wing now. So I'm like, I'm good with it.
Okay.
But I'll, I will give it a few more goes. Thinking and get through it. But now I've got it back. I'm like, I can do The Last of Us 2 now. That's going to be exciting. And I really, really still want to play the Final Fantasy VII remake. So
I can't believe you haven't.
It was one of those. It's because when it came out was when Oliver was here, so I couldn't get a chance for the TV because it wasn't up on the wall and stuff. So there was no way I could physically play it. But now it all is. I've been lending my PS4 out to people to be like, yeah, play it so I don't get a chance, so that's fine. And now I've got the laptop that I'm getting completely obsessed with WoW in. that
Yeah, okay.
like, yeah, it's hard for me to be like, oh yeah, you know what, I'm going to spend a good couple of hours because I can watch telly and I can just sit next to her chatting to her while playing WoW and stuff. So it's I think me and you were talking about it not last week but the week before about am I going to get a PlayStation 5 or what am I going to do?
Yeah.
And I think as much as I'd really love a new console, I think it is going to be at least a good year before I get one because I haven't missed having my PlayStation 4. Even though there's like huge games that have come out and like ones I was really looking forward to, they've passed me by and I've been like, yeah, that's fine. Which is really bizarre because I thought I would have been like, oh my god, that Final Fantasy 7 remake is a day one purchase, and I would have been all over it because how much
you'd have put the week off work.
15.
Absolutely.
So I was like, and the fact they mixed it up and changed it about, and like it is still very exciting. So part of me really, really wants to play it, but obviously not that bad that I've gone out and bought it and started playing it because it's sitting up here in the bag upstairs. My PlayStation 4, and I was playing WoW before. So, it's not one of those that I'm dying to get into it. But I am now max level in WoW. Yay!
Oh, so that didn't take you long.
So I'm now doing end game stuff and building reps so I can unlock some new races and stuff.
Wow.
And it's really, really fun. And I think it's because I've got a really good guild behind me. Like it is genuinely really good fun. But obviously the Halloween event's on, so I'm still trying my damnedest to get this Headless Horseman mount. Because I've been trying it for years. I can't remember if we talked about this on pod or off pod.
It wasn't. It was off. It was when I visited. Yeah.
Right. So there's a Halloween event called Hallow's End, and you go and you can fight the Headless Horseman in like a dungeon, like an instance it's called. And it's just one fight. You don't go through an entire dungeon and stuff. It's just one fight. You summon the Headless Horseman and he comes out and you go your little group of 5, kill the horseman, and then there's a 0.0002% chance that it's going to drop his mount, his horse, which is like a dead horse that's got green flames coming out of its like mouth and hooves and stuff, and it can fly. And it looks awesome. And I really, really, really want it. And I've tried ever since I've had my first laptop to play WoW on. To get this fucking this mount, and the annoying thing is it's soulbound, which means you can't trade it, you can't put it on the auction house to sell it. It's literally yours and yours alone. So when I did it originally with Dave got it, and I was like, oh my god, I'm so jealous, that looks amazing, and he used it everywhere and just rubbed it in loads. But you can try it once a day up until the end of the event, and you keep going for it. And Dave won it 3 times, and I never got it once. And he tried everything to try and pass it over to me, and it was just not possible. And I was like, I just really, really want it. So I still had no joy. It's been on for like 8 days now, and I'm getting nothing. Oh, and and the worst thing is usually I go a character, like a paladin or something that uses plate armor, which is the same as what the Headless Horseman uses. So you can win his armor as well if he drops it in the loot, and his the helmet is like a skull, like lemon skull thing, which looks like amazing. And his armor just looks badass because he's the Headless fucking Horseman, so of course it's going to look badass. And you can wear it all and it looks really cool with all the flames and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, it's so good. But now I'm playing a monk who wears leather. I can't even get the armor. Like I can win it, but I can't do anything with it. You just literally have to sell it. And I'm like, this is just rubbish. So it's beating me down at the minute, but I'm not giving up, and I will.
You can do it, Reg.
I will get it.
You can do it.
I will get it at some point. It's always my thing of like, whenever I've got the opportunity to be like, I might delve into WoW. I was like, I'll wait around September, October time, and then I'll jump back in again and try and get this fucking mount. And I'm hoping and praying that this will be my year that I get it. But yeah, if not, then I can move on to Final Fantasy 14, maybe. No, I won't. Shadowlands is out soon, and I'm getting far too deep.
Yeah, of course.
So I am very excited though, and I'm going to start an alt as well. It should be good.
You're going to what? You're going to start an alt?
Yeah. Yeah, so that was the thing. So yeah, an alt, which is like another
Just a new character.
yeah, just a new character. So I'm gonna, because this, you get professions and stuff you can do in it. So like the guild's just like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that. And the weirdest thing about all of this is the in my day job that I've got when I'm not a podcaster extraordinaire, I do recruiting, and we were recruiting for an admin job in our place. And someone put up on, like, someone applied for it, and on their bottom of their CV of interest was like avid video game player. I'm actually like the head of the guild in my Warcraft server, and I was like, that's interesting. I was like, I can't say if you're good for the job or not, because I haven't read through your CV properly, and if you're listening to this, and you know, I may be in touch. But I've seen the bottom CV, and I was like, I've got to phone and find out. So I phoned, and I was like, hey, this is Grave Convergent, blah 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 blah. Run through it all, and I was like, just out of interest, it says at the bottom of your CV, and you play WoW and you're the guild leader and stuff. I was like, just out of interest, which server is it you're on? She was like, oh, Tolian. I was like, that's weird, that's my server. She's like, oh, right, okay then, and starts chatting. I was like, just out of interest, what guild is it that you're doing? She's like, oh, it's called The Fewer. And I was like, hi, you're my guild leader. She was like, what? I went, yeah, of all the random things that can happen, the person who runs my guild lives about 2 streets away from me and applied for my job.
Who knew? Wait, which side of the border are they on?
On the Welsh side.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So she's like, oh, maybe we can meet up for like, you know, some food or something when lockdown ends. So I was like, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I'll just check with my wife.
Eh?
I'll just check.
Yeah, she was like, yeah, but my wife would kill me though. And I was like, yep. So no doubt I'm going to get kicked out of guild because she wasn't successful in getting a job. Spoiler alert if you're listening. And and now I've just been like, yeah, no chance of me meeting you for food. So bye guild. It was fun while it lasted, and now I might have a chance to play Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, there you go.
So you know, win-win.
Exactly.
Oh dear. But yeah, so that's been what I've literally been up to, mate. I've not been doing a great deal apart from watching all of the Toy Stories.
Yeah.
And the shorts. We've been watching all. Thankfully, Toy Story is one of the few that gets a lot of shorts.
Yeah, I'd rather watch the shorts than number 4 again.
No, I think 4 is severely underrated.
I just didn't see the point in it.
There's not, but there wasn't really any need for most of them. Toy Story 1 and 2, perfect.
I think 3,
the saga and stuff.
It does it so well, and then suddenly they're like, no, let's do a whole nother movie where, spoilers, Woody gets to leave. Like, I don't know, I didn't quite see why it needed to be done, and it wasn't entertaining enough. Yeah, but I didn't find it entertaining enough to make me go, all right, but it wasn't necessary, but I get it. It was good. It was like Pixar are very particular on only doing something when they have the right script, and it just didn't seem like that. This was one of those, unfortunately. But I don't know.
Yeah, I do have a nearly 2-year-old that will massively disagree with you.
Fair enough. Get him on. Give him a microphone. Come on.
I will. I had a weird dream. I'll go back to Toy Story in a second. I had a weird dream the other night that me and Oliver started a podcast on our network. I think it's because we in work now, because it's getting to the stage where I think the boss can tell that the morale is dragging down quite a bit.
Right.
With how many jobs we're on and being locked down and not being seen, like not allowed to go into the office and stuff. It's just a bit monotonous now. So he's trying to break it up. And by like every Monday, one of us will do a quiz. You know, we'll have to guess it. And then on the Thursday, we do a presentation, 10 minutes on something, anything of our choice, anything of interest, whatever we want to talk about, we can. There's no limits to it. So like his one he's done is where he would go to survive a zombie apocalypse, is like one of the ones that he discussed, which he'll be screwed if it happened now because his his shop was Tesco's because he would stay at the top of the escalators and she would control the power. But
just make sure the up one is off.
yeah,
The zombies can work out how to get up the down escalator. No chance, right?
Exactly.
No.
And now it's cut off anyway now, so all barriered over and stuff because of
Plus, there's no food upstairs. Everyone knows that if there's a Tesco's with an upstairs, then that's where the clothes are, that's where the TVs and the DVDs and stuff are.
Yeah, it's the good stuff is.
Yeah, but not if you're in a zombie apocalypse. I mean, granted,
there's a cafe.
Yeah, okay.
So, and you can always sneak downstairs every now and again on little scavenger hunts to get the food and go back up again.
I suppose.
But
anyway.
so he was doing that one. I think Mike is probably going to do his one about Star Wars, or probably Star Wars, because that's what he likes.
Okay.
And I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do a podcast about. I don't know what I'm going to do. I might do a discussion about podcasting and how to do a podcast and how a podcast works and how you edit, and I just go through it all. And I was thinking about this in bed, and I must have just been thinking about it that much that I had a dream that me and you were doing a podcast, and Oliver was just sat opposite me, listening to me doing the podcast, and was like, Dad, what is it you were doing? I was like, I was doing a podcast with your Uncle Dan. And he was like, so
he's full on talks.
Oh yeah, he was like 5 or 6.
How good is his voice? Is it like the Old Spice guy?
Oh, it wasn't, unfortunately.
Father, tell me, what is this podcast you have?
It would have been great if it was. But he started reviewing toys. That was his thing. He was like, "Hi, I'm Oliver, and I'm reviewing these toys. I'm playing with this right now," and he just got right into it. And absolutely
he's Ryan, is he?
No, he's better than that little prick. Don't like Ryan.
No.
Pain in the arse. And thankfully, Oliver doesn't really like him that much, so I get away with not having to watch that.
Good, fair enough.
Which is great. The one weird thing while we're talking about kid stuff, just very, very quickly. So when Oliver has a bath, I have like this bath playlist on, just on Spotify with usual bath time songs and stuff. Okay. And then I found another one which just had kids' TV theme tunes on. I was like, oh, I love this. I'll stick this on. So the Hot Dog song came on by the Maybe Giants from Mickey Mouse Clubhouse.
All right.
And that song goes on for like 5 fucking minutes. Like, you don't realise it on the show because he cut it obviously loads.
Yeah.
But it just never ends. It never ends. He put it on, and even towards the end of it, Oliver got bored. And that's
like
the first
when you
time
have an opening theme of an anime and you get like the 1.5-minute version, and then you get the full version and it's like 6 minutes long. I'm like, oh, there's another 4 verses.
Yeah, you're like, oh, Jesus, no. And I wouldn't mind if it was like, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air theme tune, which is awesome, and having
the full version of that. Absolutely. I was thinking, right, in fact, this just a quick aside. So maybe if we're lucky, there will be a Wales Comic Con next year in I forget when it is. Is it supposed to be like May or something? The next one, maybe earlier. April, yeah. So they've got a few people from the cast of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air there. So Thingy's going to be there. What's the butler's called? I can't remember any characters apart from Will. Jeffrey's going to be there, and for goodness sake, the sister, the one who loves shopping,
not Ashley.
No, the other one.
Oh no! What is her name now?
I don't know what's going on. My head's completely lost.
So you got Colton, Ashley.
Vivian's the mum, right?
Yeah, Vivian's the mum, Uncle Phil, and what's her name? Oh my God, what's her actual name? Which one's it? No, Vivian's the mum. I can't.
Daphne? No, Daphne.
Oh, yeah, that could be it.
No way.
No,
Vivian can't. Hillary.
Oh yeah, it doesn't begin with Hillary. Oh, it is Hillary. Yeah.
Hillary.
Whew. Oh my God, how could we not remember that?
Yeah. So at the minute you've got Jeffrey and Hillary, and whenever they get a couple of people from one series or something, the one fandom, usually a few more follow because they like to get, a bunch together and they can do a panel and all that sort of stuff. How amazing would it be if the song we did was the theme to the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
That's it.
That'll work, right? It's done. We're like 6 months in advance. We have our next song. Love it.
Yeah. And
just get DJ Jazzy Jeff in. Let him DJ the after party.
And we can use the outfits that we wore for that show we did. Yep. What was the show we did?
It wasn't about the show we did. More. I've got a Fresh Prince of Bel-Air costume that I wore when we went to watch Will Smith and Jazzy Jeff.
You do? Yeah, I forgot you did that.
I'm just wondering though, is that not allowed now? So it was was it 4 years ago we went to watch Will Smith and Jazzy Jeff in Blackpool?
Oh my God, that 4 years ago.
Something like that. It's got to be at least. And I dressed, basically, I put on, in the opening credits of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, he's wearing is it yellow and green or something, or a green and blue stripy t-shirt and a yellow hat and little neon blue shorts. I bought that outfit and I wore it to the gig. And I don't know, it felt absolutely fine. But nowadays, I feel like turning up cosplaying that at a Comic-Con might be a little bit problematic.
You'll be fine as long as you don't blackface. You'll be all right.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I won't do that this time.
Yeah, I think it's for the best this time.
For the record, I didn't last time either. I'm joking. It's a joke.
No, so if he goes Will Smith, I'll go as Fat Man Scoop.
No one will get that. That man Scoop was he was the support act to Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince.
It was such a weird lineup.
Oh dear. And who else? Fats and Small.
Yeah, Fats and Small and some weird local
someone who was on The Voice.
It was just, they were shocking.
Mm-hmm.
But Fats and Small were ace in a really bad way. Batman Scoop is just the worst but the best at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And then Will Smith and Jazzy Jeff were just a bomb.
Oh, they were so good. So good. But anyway. Yeah. What was the point there?
We trailed well off topic on Wales Comic-Con.
You mentioned Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, I think.
Yeah, I don't know how that got onto that, to be honest with you.
I love when that happens.
My mind's just gone.
Yeah.
But while we are talking nothing about that, moving on very swiftly back to my favourite subject of games.
All right, go on then.
So the Xbox One X is now out in the wild of all the journalists. As is the PS5 now.
Yeah, absolutely. They did some really, and I keep, every time you start telling a story, I interrupt with something, but something that's slightly relevant, and it'll help you get back on topic anyway. But it's weird. This time round, it's the first time something like this has launched, where YouTube and social media is as it is, right? Mm-hmm. And I noticed with this and with the new iPhone launch, all these tech YouTubers and stuff, and people on Facebook, Instagram, they're actually all working with them for once, instead of being it's odd for Apple in particular, going, right, here you go, here's the models, here's the boxes, here's all this stuff, so you can do all your videos, you can do the unboxing, you can show the size of it. One of the YouTubers, do you know Unbox Therapy?
I don't.
Okay, so he's one of the bigger ones. He basically used to just sit in front of a grey backdrop and unbox things. He's quite entertaining, but it's this whole empire now that he's got. But he has a phone case company, and because he has this phone case company, he got all the models in for the phones, because they have to design them and have them, ready to go. Mm-hmm. So obviously he could show it all off, and normally that never happens. That sort of stuff never comes out. It's the same with the consoles. Usually you don't quite get as much out there until it's literally about to launch. yet we've had people showing off like models of the actual console. I've seen people going, "Oh, there you go. Here's the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S," and having scale models that look like the real thing. They just haven't got any of the insides. We've seen people with the boxes. We've seen people with the controllers. Who's the rapper who suddenly had the controller and put it on Instagram? And he's just like, "Hey, look, yeah, I've got the controller."
Oh, really?
It's the guy who had the McDonald's meal named after him. I forget who it was. But
Mac.
No.
Mac Daddy Mo.
No, it's fine. Anyway, I'm sure I remember, but yeah, it's weird. I've never seen it quite so out there before, this far in advance of launch. Yeah.
I mean, I find it weird that it feels like we haven't been talking about it long enough for it to come out, because the Xbox Series X comes out in like 2 weeks. It's crazy how quick it getting close it's coming through, and the PS5 is like 2 weeks after that. So it's like they're both out this time next month. You'd be able to have both of those in your house.
Yeah, unless you live in Wales, but okay. Well,
you can get it online shopping. True. If you've already pre-ordered it and you're successful and get it.
Postman's still allowed to deliver to you, is he? What if your DPD delivery driver lives in England?
Then, well, Ash just said apparently Argos aren't doing deliveries to our areas.
No, I can imagine.
So, yeah. So,
dear.
So that's going to not be good for me. I know, actually, hopefully it'll be all right. As I say, because I just had a very interesting email exchanges with Fangamer, who do the Shenmue 3.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Things, because people have now been posting up all their capsule toys.
I saw them, and they look amazing. Even the boxes.
Yeah. So I'm like, everyone's got theirs. Like the guy who last time around when I was waiting for my T-shirt, who lives in Wrexham, which is 15 minutes up the road from me, was like, "I've had mine 2 months now." Like, well, fuck you, guy. He's posted up pictures of his capsule toys and his art book, and I'm like, they've done it again. Like, I haven't even had shipping confirmation that mine's actually come out yet. So I was like, I've had enough now. I'm just going to email them and just be like, what the actual shiz? Like, where's my stuff? Give it me, please. I need it.
Absolutely.
So I emailed them, and I was like, I'm extremely upset, agitated, frustrated. You con artists have had me off with this already. Still waiting my illustration, which was supposedly being sent prior to my T-shirt, and yet 3 months after my T-shirt shipping confirmation, I finally got that. I haven't had my illustration, and I've waited now 7 months for the illustration. And people have now got their art book and looking through it along with their capsule toys, and I haven't even had shipping confirmation. Like, what's going on? I know I can't get a refund for this because I've already had like half of the products. And I was like, I just feel very, very let down by you guys. And then the guy, because I found out who it was via LinkedIn and stuff, I didn't just respond to the thing on.
Oh, you did a Sean.
I did a proper hunt around, and just had a pop at the guy, and then literally after the email to them, I got a shipping email about two minutes later, going, your art book and capsule toy are on its way. I was like, well, that didn't take long. And then a second email before, I think it was, saying, as an apology for you not receiving your goods, we're sending you a Shenmue 3 T-shirt. I was like, oh, well, I'll wait another fucking 6 months to get that. And I've already fucking got that. But, and the annoying thing is, it's going to be at large, isn't it? So I can't even pass it off to you.
I was going to say, Christmas is coming round.
But it won't fit you, so that's annoying.
No.
But yeah, so hopefully I'll get them.
Just email them and tell them you've lost weight. All this stress of waiting.
So stress eating. I've just been not eating at all.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm up for it. Which brings me nicely into my my Xbox One X. Series X.
Yeah.
I'll go into. So people have now been able to run the games and see what they've been looking like, scaled up versions of like the Xbox One X games, and and see what the load time differences are like, and what the frame rates are like.
Yeah.
And the load times are just amazing for it. So the likes of Final Fantasy 15 used to take 1 minute 39 seconds apparently from the select your save file to it loading. Now it takes 6.
So seconds.
6 seconds.
Wow.
So it's just like the speed of some of the things is phenomenal. Like Gears of War apparently took like 2.5 minutes. It now takes like 24 seconds or something to load, and it's just like the loading times are just incredible coming through, and obviously they're all scaled up and looking all sexified and whatnot. And that's ace. And Sony have done patches for a load of their games as well, just on the PS4, just to be like, hey, look, we can do stuff. And they've cut the load time on load of their games now. I've seen before the remastered version of The Last of Us.
Yeah.
Part 1 has had 70% of its load times cut. Like, how the fuck? How couldn't you do that in the first place? And why have you waited until literally the end of the generation to be like, yeah, what, guys, we can now do this, come buy a PS4.
Yeah. I mean, it is purely the hard disk, isn't it? I mean, I know there's a lot going on behind the scenes as well, but that makes such a huge difference. I mean, just the easiest way to imagine it is just thinking, your old moving parts hard disk. Everywhere on that disk is all the different files, and it's got to actually look for the files somewhere on that disk. It's got to move apart to where that file is to load. Whereas solid state, it's just it knows exactly where it is. It just does it and it loads it, and it's that. I mean, that makes a huge difference on its own.
Yeah.
So crazy.
It really, really does. I notice it with my laptop.
Yeah, exactly.
Like my old laptop used to take, at least you can make a brew, maybe have some toast, and then it'll load up and be like, oh, brilliant. Now I can attempt to put my password and stuff. Now I literally press the power on button and it's ready for my password to be put in. I'm like, this is incredible. I'm still not used to this. This is so good. So, and like I was saying last week in the PS5 UI and the way that they can do the challenges and stuff is just, I love that so much. I think it's so good because you've now got the power to do so. It's the small little touches like that I think can easily win people over. Definitely, because the minute I read that, I was like, yeah, if I was toying with the idea of getting one, it will be the PS5. I love the feeling.
It's even the fact that, I mean, it's great. There's a dozen or so titles that are going to be out for launch or whatever. There's a good amount of titles, and I'm sure there's some really, really amazing stuff. There's some average stuff. There always is for launch. It's always a bit of a mixed bag, isn't it?
Yeah.
But to know that, okay, you've got this huge back catalogue of games that are compatible, and suddenly they are going to be 10 times, more accessible because of how quick it is for loading, and you almost and the upscaling and everything. It just suddenly it doesn't feel like games from the last generation. They sort of feel like they're still current if you've never played them. So.
Yeah, exactly, and that's so. Just slightly going off topic, but in a way that's still quite relevant. So obviously the Uncharted games are going to be on this little list of the PlayStation, the games that you'd be able to play.
Oh yeah, that's right. And is there 20 games that anyone who's got PlayStation Plus will get? PlayStation 4 games, they'll get them like as free games because they bought a PlayStation 5. So yes. Uncharted 4 is one of them.
Yeah, and obviously they're doing the Uncharted film.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen Tom Holland as Nathan Drake?
Yes, I have. Yes, and his outfit looks perfect.
That photo that they show you.
Yep.
Do you not think that just looks like a professional cosplay photo?
Yeah, because it doesn't look like Nathan. It's the young version.
Oh no, I get it. It doesn't look like it's a. It doesn't.
So
look
it looks too close. It's like they put too much effort into making it look exactly like it should.
Well, I was speaking to my mate over because he's a massive Uncharted fan, and he was like,
Okay.
"How else are you going to dress him up?" And I was like, "No, it's not that. I think it's the There's something about it. It just looks as though it's someone who's gone to a professional photographer and been like, I've got this
Yeah.
Nathan Drake cosplay. I really want to have a photo.
I absolutely get that. Yeah,
It
totally.
looks like that."
Mm.
But I was like, you know what? It's just me being finicky. That's fine.
Yeah,
And then-
absolutely. It's just the look of it, It doesn't
And
matter.
then
It's
this
about-
morning happened.
Okay, what happened this morning?
Mark Wahlberg. That's what happened.
Okay, go on.
Mark Wahlberg is playing as Sully.
Right.
The older, more mature, always fully mustachioed gentleman.
Okay.
Notice how I said always mustachioed.
Right.
Yeah. So they've decided, hey, Mark Wahlberg isn't going to look aged at all in this. He's still going to look really young, maybe just a year or two older than Tom Holland in this. We're down to fucking mustache. Mark Wahlberg is playing Mark Wahlberg.
Okay. Well, maybe it'll get to the end of it, and he'll make some terrible joke about like, oh, I was thinking I might look good with a mustache, and he'll be like, yeah, maybe you should.
No,
and then
Dan. No, it's just it could.
I'm gonna put £5 English on that happening because that is such a television and movie trope.
Yeah, well, there is a photo he's put up on Instagram after, because there's been some, I can't remember the magazine, it might have been Vanity Fair or something, that basically just showing off a load of photos from like them stalking the film set, going like, "Oh, here's Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg on the set of Uncharted," and they're both wearing tuxedos, attending some events, and they both just look like Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg. And that thing said, Mark Wahlberg's gone, look, oh, here's a photo of me like sitting in the makeup chair with a mustache. He hasn't given any relevance to anything, and the mustache looks so fake and so awful. It might as well be CGI.
Why is he not grown? I've got it up now. I've got a picture of it, and it does. It almost looks Freddie Mercury like.
Yeah.
It's not the best.
No, it's really not. It's like,
why is he not actually grown one?
Dan, I don't know. The only point of relevance I've got to this is it's fucking Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah. Two things as well I'm taking from this. Apparently it says here it's been directed by Ruben Fleischer, who directed Venom. Oh dear. And it's tentatively scheduled for release on the 16th of July, 2021. Right. That's going to happen.
I mean, the weirdest thing is this is what must have been about the 7th iteration of the Uncharted movie. Like,
I get it, but they're filming it now. They're actually filming it.
Yeah, but just why? After knowing Mark Wahlberg as Sully and just seeing the lack of effort, I'm not interested anymore.
No,
I was slightly interested just to see because I quite like Tom Holland.
Mm-hmm.
But then I seen that photo of him in the Get Up, I was like, there's something about it I just don't like. And then I was like, I'm going to give it a chance. It's just me being picky and me being a dick. And then Mark Wahlberg showed up, and I was like, well, there's the interest gone.
Mm.
Just straight away.
I feel like they're thinking super mega long term. Like if you look at Indiana Jones, they're trying to make another Indiana Jones film, even though Harrison Ford is like 80.
Yeah.
And even the last one, which was made, 10 years ago? Got to be?
Yeah.
So I know that one didn't actually happen. It doesn't exist. And it's just, it's been ignored because it was awful. But even then, he looked too old for it. And he just, the action scenes would look really poor because he just hasn't got it in him anymore. So I almost feel like they're like, right, let's start him off young. And then, in 20 years' time, we'll still be able to make Uncharted movies with Tom Holland in. So now, that's just what I'm thinking.
No, I get it, and I completely understand, but I can't, Dan. I can't have Mark Wahlberg ruin another franchise.
Absolutely. Completely agree.
He loves doing it.
does.
Really does love doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of things we love doing, I believe you've got a list of stuff.
Fair enough.
This is
Well,
one thing we
I
like.
was just thinking, there's a couple of things actually, but I was just thinking that this episode is like, this is our Halloween episode. It's like, where's the spookiness, Reg? You know, this is coming out on Wednesday. It's only like 2 days
Mark
before
Wahlberg's
Halloween.
mustache.
True. Okay, yeah, I'm definitely scared about seeing that. But well, what one quickie to do with sort of spookiness. You know, they're making another Evil Dead film.
Evil Dead Rise.
Yeah, Evil Dead Rise. So it got announced by Bruce Campbell, and made everyone think, oh, right, maybe he's going to be involved, but apparently not. Apparently he's not in it. But it's almost turning it from the horror that everyone knows and is used to, almost into I don't know. This is going to be like Evil Dead meets The Raid. This is going to be set in a tower block, apparently a big city building where people are getting attacked by the Evil Dead while they're stuck in this building, which sounds like an odd but interesting concept.
Yeah, I'm hoping he's serving as producer or something, because I've not gone into it too much. I know that it's a female lead.
Right.
And I know that the director dude is taking it out of the cabin in the woods and moving it to the skyrise building.
Yeah.
But the first thing I had in my head was, this is literally going to be The Raid.
Yeah.
The Raid with Deadites. And I was like, but not with Bruce Campbell. And apparently they're going for a full-on horror. So, yeah, it's going to lose the campiness of it. Like, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the last Evil Dead.
The remake one, yeah.
I quite enjoyed it. Didn't enjoy it as much as the original Evil Dead, obviously, but as a re-go of it, it did have some really messed up bits in it and some really good bits in it. So, it can prove that an Evil Dead can work without Ash. But at the same time, it didn't feel amazingly Evil Dead-y. No. It just felt like it was like, yeah, here we go.
It almost didn't need to be, exactly. I mean, they even, after that, they did the Ash vs. Evil Dead TV series, didn't they? So it's not like they went, right, that's all done with.
Yeah.
So,
and if you haven't watched it and you like Evil Dead, you seriously need to get onto, even though it did get cancelled after the third season, it is incredible. I'd probably say it's up there. Maybe with Army of Darkness is my favourite Evil Dead thing.
Wow.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's in my queue. Not got around to it yet, but
it's amazing.
Okay.
And the little Ash puppet is so good. You need to watch it.
I've seen that for sale in my local comic book shop, and that did intrigue me.
Yeah.
Like an Ash puppet, Muppet rather.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's so good.
So this is I'm kind of stealing something from IGN here, because they recently put up a post of the most terrifying scares in video games, and I just wanted to get your sort of take on things, because I know you've played. I think you've probably played all 10. I've played about half of these, and there's a couple I agree with, a couple I'm not quite so sure of, but I'm just curious what your take is on this. And I feel like that's a nice little Halloween-y thing to do. So why not? So, number 10, Reg, is Tomb Raider, the T-Rex attack in the original Tomb Raider. Now, this is thing like the title is the most terrifying scares in video games. Now, I do remember playing this and running around the corner after shooting, whatever. I might have killed a couple of wolves, and suddenly I've got an undead that you've got to kill. And then suddenly this T-Rex appears. I wouldn't say I was scared, but I was like, what the heck is a T-Rex doing here?
Yeah. It definitely isn't terrifying.
No.
It's a jump scare, but it wasn't
exactly.
It wasn't terrifying.
It was a shocked, like, oh, that's a T-Rex. Okay, I'm just going to run from this. So that I'm not so sure of. Fair enough, number 10, but I feel like there might be some better things that could have gone in its place. Now, the next one I'll agree with. This was one of the... it was a really weird level in the middle of an amazing game that suddenly took this left turn to be, like almost like a survival horror type game before it went back to exactly what it had been before. And this is Half-Life 2. The Ravenholm level, which was amazing. I remember it was one of the few ones that, like, it was a very, obviously that game wasn't level based, but I remember sitting down and playing that and not stopping till I got out of it, just absolutely just going at it, because I wanted to get it over with. Because like it was so well done, but I remember it being really unnerving. So I'll absolutely agree with that one.
I would say it's tense. Yeah, I've got a feeling that it's going to hit this list, the end of this list, and I'd be like, right, here's a good top 10.
Probably, I expect that. But this is just it. I'm sure it's almost like, fair enough. This is taking a good broad spectrum of. Okay, if a T-Rex attack in Tomb Raider is like 1 out of 10, we're up to 2 out of 10. I think it's more than the top 10.
I like the atmosphere in that. That was the only redeeming feature in Half-Life 2 for me, was that.
Really?
Yeah.
I loved it.
I didn't even finish it.
No.
I got that bored of driving the buggy around the beach area bit. I was like, you know what, sack this off.
That's true. I mean, it's such a huge game with all that sort of stuff. Any of the open world driving around bits, but no, I loved it and loved episode 1 and 2.
Sorry, just massively going off topic, but talking about really slow paced games and stuff. Did you know in Shenmue 3, when you go to catch the chickens, if you hold L2 down, it slows down the QTEs?
Really?
Yep.
Okay. Because that was one of the most frustrating bits in the game.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to catch the chicken.
It was one of the few bits that Ash sat down and watched me play, and she was like, I thought you were good at this. And I was like, I really do like it. But yeah, someone tweeted it. Someone put it up on Facebook going, randomly, guys, just if you weren't aware, press L2 on the QTs, it slows them down. And I was like, no.
Wow.
And then loads of people went back and played it. It was like, holy shit, it works. And I was like, oh my God, that's incredible. So yeah, there you go.
Who knew?
Anyway.
Yeah. Okay, well, number 8, it is the mirror room in Silent Hill 3.
That is fucking terrifying.
Okay. Now, I've not played this. I've seen a screenshot, and it looks lovely.
It's, oh my days. It's just because you can't get out.
Okay.
It has to play out that scene all the way through. And if I close my eyes now, I can picture being in that room, and it's fucking haunting. Yeah, that's a good choice.
Okay, well, so we're almost blowing our load early here, Reg. Number 8, and we're already at one of the scariest things. I'm just having a read here. So you're looking in a mirror, and then things in the mirror world start to go all a bit weird.
Yeah, so basically, evil Silent Hill is in the mirror, like the bad Silent Hill, but you're obviously in the good bit. It all just starts blending into the one, but your character model is getting all fucked up as you're literally in that room. You're like, oh my God, what's going on? And it is a good moment.
Okay. Have you played Fear?
Yes.
Okay. It says the ladder in Fear.
When Alma's at the top of it. Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not a bad shout. That's a proper jump scare. Fear is full of it's a creepy as hell game, I'm not gonna lie, and she is a great antagonist. Going through it all, and there is bits when she doesn't even have to do anything, she just has to stand there, and all of a sudden you start shitting yourself a little bit. But that ladder is one of the most unexpected turn of events. Okay.
Yeah, it says here, you're climbing down a seemingly harmless ladder. Suddenly you're face to face with Alma, the series' iconic creepy girl, standing only inches away. Particularly devious as a player is essentially helpless while on the ladder.
Yep.
Fair enough. Okay, number 6, Dead Space, Tentacle Attack.
There's better Dead Space moments. Like, the one that will always stick with me in Dead Space is Dead Space 2, and it's the fucked up babies in the nursery area that have all the proper things that rag out of the back and start flying and attacking you. Or there's the eye scene. Have you played Dead Space 2 at all? Because there's a bit in it where you can get a upgrade, and in order to get the upgrade, you've got to do eye surgery on yourself, and you control it. But it has like the proper Clockwork Orange grip around your eyeball, and that's what you're looking at in like the full screen. This laser coming down, you've got to guide the laser directly into its pupil, otherwise it's like probably just fucks your face up. But that's a really tense, like terrifying moment, knowing that that could be it, because the save points on that one. It's not just like, I'll save it here.
Well, they're arguing that the reason it's so scary, it's more that it's tense. It's that you pass this hole in the hull 7 or 8 times and nothing happens. So you might have seen it, and you just you're walking past it, and then all of a sudden something jumps out at you on the 9th time or whatnot. But, okay, so next one. I'm curious what you'll say about this, because you'll agree with the game. I don't know whether you'll agree with the bit they're picking out, but Silent Hill, The Nightmare Alley.
Oh, yeah.
That's it. Is that the when the babies come after you?
That's the very first. Yeah, that's the first.
Okay. Then fair enough.
And yeah, because it's your first, like, oh my god, what the hell is going on sort of moment in Silent Hill.
Not used to the controls.
And it is.
Trying to run away, yeah.
It is terrifying going through it all and knowing you can't defend this. Like, it is, game over or whatever. Like, you're trying to run away, you don't know the first time, so you are panicking massively, like, what the fuck? Yeah, that's a good moment. That's a really good moment. And I love the fact that even in the film, they kept in that alleyway with the exact camera angles. They did it so well.
Fair enough. I was curious with that one. Obviously, it had to be on the list somewhere, didn't it? But I was curious what bit you would pick out.
That's the thing with Silent Hill. There's so many in Silent Hill series.
Okay, so the next one's Alien Isolation, and what they're picking out, it's not a particular scene. It's the fact that they don't tell you that the xenomorph can actually hear you playing the game, because the microphone is picking up you. So it's the moment when you realise that that's the case. So I like that. I like the idea of that.
Yeah,
I had no idea that was the case, to be honest. I played it at the Expos, and I played it briefly at home. I can't remember how far I got with it, but I had no idea that it was actually listening to you on the microphone.
Yeah, it's so good. So good. It's just a shame it takes a while to get going, but when it does, it's so good. Such a good title.
Okay, Resident Evil 2, Meeting the Licker.
It's an iconic moment, I'm not going to lie to you, but terrifying? No. Like, okay, so there's this big, huge thing on the ceiling.
Yeah.
You've already had a little mini glimpses of it when it's running past the windows and stuff, so you're like, oh my god, what the hell is that? And you're like, oh, it's that. It's terrifying. But then you've got Resident Evil 1 where you go up into the loft and all of a sudden there's a spider that takes over like 3 screens.
Okay.
Trying to fucking murder you. That's a lot more terrifying. Like the jump scares of the dogs coming through the window for the first time.
Alright, so
that's scarier than the liquor.
Yeah. Well, number 2, Resident Evil, that doggy in the window. Walking down an empty hallway in the original Resident Evil, devoid of zombies, and bam, a zombie dog bursts through the window and absolutely ruins your day.
Yep.
There you go.
That moment was the moment I was not allowed to choose games to play at my cousin's anymore.
Brilliant.
So he didn't get much further into the game after that. He hid under his quilt and made me play it all after screaming like a little girl, waking up our little niece, well, my little niece, his sister. And And yeah, it was like my auntie came running into the room and was like, "What the hell's going on in here?" And I'm just playing Resident Evil, and he's like crying under the quilt. And I was like, "A dog come through the window." And she was like, "Turn this off now." And I was like, "Okay." And then she was like, "You're banned from doing this ever again. I knew I shouldn't have got you this game." And blah, 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 because we rented it from Blockbusters.
Right.
And yeah, that was it. And I'll always remember that bit. He got no further in the game, and he's never played it since.
Wow.
Love it.
Okay. Any ideas what number one might be?
It's going to be something. It's going to be something like Amnesia, isn't it? Or I can't picture it being what probably should be number one. What should be number one is Broken Neck Girl from Project Zero or Fatal Frame.
There's no Project Zero Fatal Frame on here. Unfortunately. I mean, but that just goes to show that why is the T-Rex from Tomb Raider on this?
Is it Five Nights at Freddy's?
No, it's not. Don't worry. It's an odd one, but I get it. It's a game that I've never played, and I am never going to be able to play it, even though I really, really want to. Because
Doki Doki Literature Club.
No, it's not that. Because you now can't download it. It's impossible to download. It's PT. It's the specific moment when Lisa attacks. She says the continuous loops, consistently building the tension. It gets slightly more disturbing each time, until finally the words "look behind you" can barely be made out of the radio static, and you turn around and there she is, up close and personal.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
So PT is all right. I think it just gets Hideo Kojima that it's got all of this hubbub about it. Like, it is a good title, like a good experience, so to speak. But
for free, and then it's also got this
how it's number one on. I don't mean just this, but like people mention like scariest games of all time, and PT gets in that top 10. That's sort of bullshit.
Right.
It's good and it's fun, but it just all that's all it is literally you're walking through this, and I understand the repetition and stuff, and I get it, but I think once you've done it once, I don't think you like. I've done it once and I've got no inclination to go back run through it again, because I've done it. It doesn't grip me enough there's no variety in it. There's no change. It's literally everything happens at that set time all the way through it, so you know when each beat is going to hit, and when, at least if you're going to play these survival horrors and stuff, or just a horror title, it's nice to have a big, fully fleshed out world that you can actually go and dick about with, and things can happen differently each time, or your playthrough might be the same the second time round as it is the first time round. So like my top 10 would be wildly different than this.
No, I can imagine.
In no particular order, and even games that aren't classed as proper survival horrors and stuff, like one of the creepiest moments I think I've ever experienced is the Condemned series on the 360. I think it might came out on the PS3 as well. I'm not quite sure. No, it didn't. It only came out on the Xbox 360. If you haven't played it, it's like a first-person game where you go a detective going around trying to catch a serial killer dude. And you go through, and then all of a sudden, these mannequins just start following you around, like all the way through, and then start bleeding and stuff. And they're just really, really fucking eerie. Like the whole atmosphere about it is so well done that you just can't shake that feeling of knowing that just mannequins. But what the hell's going on, and how have they multiplied, and why are they circling around me now? And like every time you turn the camera, they'll come closer, like off camera. So when you turn back to see where they were, they're not in that area anymore. They're now even closer, or they might move further away, or like somewhere different. Just proper plays with your mind, and it's really, really atmospheric, and it's so creepy. It's amazing. That's really good. I was genuinely surprised there was no Outlast in that top 10 as well, because I especially whore off Outlast. But that was one of the first survival horror games where I didn't have any protection when you're playing through as a character. So I know like Amnesia and stuff did it first, but I think this done it really, really well. The fact you've only got a video camera to sort of see with, to give you light and stuff around it, but no way of protecting yourself when the enemies come at you. You've just got to hide and stuff. And that was done really, really clever. Now it's well overdone, but they're like unreal. I thought that's a really, really fun title. I mean, Christ, I adore the Resident Evil series. Like I said, I think the whole thing with Resident Evil 1, like the giant, huge spider in Resident Evil 1 is massively underrated. It's like a scary moment in gaming. I think that's done, again, really well. It builds it up massively when you start seeing cobwebs around the house. When you see, I think it's Forrest, the agent at the time, and you see him and he's talking about this big spider, and you're like, oh yeah, this big spider's, you see the size of the dogs and their dog size, you see the size of the zombies and their normal human sizes, and then all of a sudden this fucking spider is not a spider size. This is like, a huge giant, and as an arachnophobic person, it scared the shit out of me. Like that was just very, very tense and a very, very fun title. Obviously the Project Zero series for me I could fill the top 10 list of just top 10
fair enough.
Project Zero. Mm-hmm. But the Broken Neck Girl, like, she will always haunt me. And it's terrifying. Just the sound alone, you don't even have to see it. It's just the sound of the fall and and that loops as well. Like every time you go into that room, she'll go down until eventually it stops. And you're like, oh, why has it stopped? And it's just like that. Oh my god, that's terrifying. And in Project 04, there's moments where it's very grudge-esque, Project 04 in ways, because when you go to bed, you dream about the house and the level, so to speak, when you go through, and that's how you progress the story. But in your hub, which is the house, as the game goes on, more and more fucked up stuff starts happening in the house. So you could be having a shower and the hand comes out of the hair like it does in the Grudge. But you can pick up audio stories, like audio tapes from in the dream world. You can listen to them, like called Spirit Stones, and you stick them in your spirit radio. And you play it in the house, and then all that happens is it looks like it's just a still image of you sat on the bed, just head down, listening. But the first couple of times you hear it, it'll just be like crackly noise with like an odd word coming through. And then towards the end of the dream world, so to speak, the more you collect of it, the clearer the clip becomes. And I always thought, because you've got to focus in, you pay attention with your hearing more than your vision. So you're proper trying to focus in on it and listening to it. And then all of a sudden these two hands come from around underneath the bed and just come around your feet and just grab you. They don't do anything. They just grab you and then they run. And from thinking it was just like a still image to that happening, it fucking well messes with my head. There's the bit up in the loft again, in very grudge-esque, and you go up and there's a weird person up in the loft. Fucking very, very scary moment. There's just so many of them, like the twins and everything is done so well in both those. There's definitely a top 10 list of that.
Fair enough.
So good.
And the sad thing is, you can't play any of these on any current gen, can you?
I think you can play. I don't know if you can play 360 games. Oh no, the original Xbox games on the Xbox Series X, can you?
Don't know.
Because I know you can't on the PS4.
No.
Which is a shame, because they are incredible. And the latest one, which came out on the Wii, was brilliant. It's just a shame it never came out over here.
Yeah. So
we had to buy a Japanese version of it and then download the English PAL translation into it.
Yeah, and there's one on the 3DS as well, the Spirit camera. No, I know.
We don't talk about that.
Fair enough.
But that needs to make a comeback. because if they can just HD them, don't even HD them up, because the grainier they look, the better.
Just give us a collection.
Yeah, literally PS5, Series X, whichever one it comes out on, just make it happen, because they are severely underrated. Amazing play. Even the Switch, because I think Nintendo own the rights to Project Zero now. Or
right, okay.
So
is there a camera on the back of the Switch?
No. Unfortunately not. Well, say fortunately not, because I don't want to end up with another one like that.
Fair enough.
So, they are full of priceless gems. Not so much. I think, to be fair, Silent Hill has far too many scary moments. But yeah, I love them so much. I think they picked a good one with the mirror. I think that's a really, really great one. One which is also a really good one in Silent Hill 4. 2 moments in Silent Hill 4, which is always a bit like, oh god, the first time. So you're locked in your room, because it's called Silent Hill 4, the room.
With a hole in the wall.
Yes. And you can... are you talking about the hole in the wall to get through to the areas, or the hole to spy on your neighbour?
More the hole in the wall that takes you through to Silent Hill.
You can spy on your neighbour in this little hole in the wall, and you go through. And I'd say 99 times out of 100 that you're looking through it, you'll just see her legs walking before, or she'll be sitting on the bed chatting to someone on the phone, or something, talking to herself. But then there's one time when Robbie the rabbit, who's like a mascot for Silent Hill, is just pointing at you with blood on its mouth, just pointing at you, and it's just the most unexpected jump scare moment. Creepy as hell. There's a giant head of the girl that you're walking around with, who is your neighbour. There's a giant head of, I think it's her head, or is it your head? There's a giant your head as you're literally in one of these rooms, and it looks at you and follows you around all the way as you're trying to go through this, and it's absolutely terrifying. Eileen. So it's Eileen's head. If you haven't seen it, not play Silent Hill 4, just literally have a quick Google of giant head Silent Hill 4, and just the look of the face alone is just terrifying. But she's making really weird night noises and stuff, and just got crazy eyes just following you around, which is just absolutely haunting. And the how could you forget I think it's called the twin victim, I think is the bad guy in Silent Hill 4, which is like a really messed up ghost thing with baby faces, that you've got to just stomp with an iron bar or a steel pipe. Just either of those two things, that needs to happen, because that's terrifying. I mean, I know most people say put them meeting Pyramid Head and stuff the first time. Like, Pyramid Head is a bit like, oh my god, and that's a very tense stalker going around it. But Silent Hill 2 has so many amazing scenes. Like, one of the most terrifying moments is being stuck in a lift, and they start playing this quiz show with you, and you've actually got to answer the questions by pressing the numbers of the floors and you don't know what's going on, but he knows everything about you, and it's just proper haunting. It's so good. And just like the hospital level, the nurses in Silent Hill, the nurses in Silent Hill are the scariest thing that's ever been put onto a video game. Hell, media. And the ones in Silent Hill 2 are the greatest / scariest, horrendous looking nurses and sounding nurses, because they're like cry as they're walking towards you, and they look all creepy, and their actions, the way they walk is just, oh my god, it's done so well. And unfortunately with Silent Hill 4, when you hit them with a pipe, they burp, and I don't understand why they did that. That's the noise it makes. They go when you hit them. You're like, that's not how it happens. At least in Silent Hill 2, it's done so well. And that gives me my favourite nurses, obviously, so that has to
absolutely
the scariest thing that's ever happened. Yeah, like the Alone in the Dark, the original Alone in the Dark series, they've got more scary moments in them, I think, than half that list that you put through. There's the games are called The Suffering, which is set in the prison. You go like an inmate going through. That's got some really messed up bits in it, some really, really clever, but quite messed up bits. Yeah, I agree. But Alien Isolation would definitely be in the list because that's an incredible, non-stop, heart-pounding playthrough, which constantly you shit yourself. And again, Resident Evil 7 in VR.
That was surprising.
How that isn't on there. The whole of Resident Evil 7 in VR is just...
Well, it's probably just an article that they've had for the last 5 years that they just keep re-releasing around this time of year.
Yeah.
So they don't add to it.
I think, to be fair, me and other Dave covered this for our Halloween Side Quest Activated special.
Oh, right. Fair enough.
A few years back.
Your own top 10 or something.
Yeah, we did our top 10 scariest moments. We made us shit ourselves. So you definitely need to go and listen to that at some point, peeps. Because that is good. That's our Halloween special.
Nice.
Dedicated to it, which is nice.
Well, I think we've talked for far too long, Reg.
Fair enough. You see, you've got me now. I just wanted to talk about horror games.
Fair enough.
This one thing I do like. It is a really nice survival horror, and it's just a shame that most survival horrors nowadays are all first-person survival horrors. It's very rare to get a horror game now like the original Silent Hills or the Project Zeros.
Fair enough.
But yeah, really need to bring some more of those bad boys out.
That just means that more will get sort of translated to VR.
Yeah, and like it is good. So you've got the likes of the Blair Witch, which is now coming out onto the Quest as well. So I'm looking forward to playing that. Even like the Walking Dead Saints and Sinners, that's brilliant. That's really scary, and really, really good. Doom 3, even though it's not a proper survival horror and it is a first-person shooter. Doom 3 really mixed up the whole way you play Doom because it's all proper story-based, slow-paced, like scary atmosphere. It's done really, really well. So that's another one which I'm quite surprised that isn't on there. To be fair, yeah, surprising, but definitely loads out there you do need to get through.
All right, well there you go. Everyone's got something to do over Halloween.
They do. They definitely do.
We've decided we're going to watch a scary film, and you can't see me put scary in inverted commas here. And by that, we just need to find a film that is sort of scary-ish, like Halloween sort of relevant. But let's say an 8-year-old could probably watch it. So at the minute, we're just thinking Ghostbusters.
Why don't you watch Toy Story, Halloween, the horror one?
Because it's only half an hour long. We don't have Disney Plus, but yeah.
Right.
See, because we've got that, and then we've got to go on Animal Crossing so we can go trick or treating because you can only do that after 8 o'clock on the 31st. So it's very important we get to do that.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, that's our Halloween.
The Thing. Did you ever play The Thing?
Oh yes, that was fab. That was awesome. I love that.
That was an awesome title.
Yeah,
I really, really enjoyed.
That was really atmospheric as well.
Yeah,
really well done.
I was going to say it was done amazingly well. I love the fact that you couldn't trust any of your crewmate in that. It was just so good.
Anyway, we're getting back onto that. We need to segue back into ending this episode, Reg.
Yes. Okay. Well, fair enough. I don't know what we're doing for Halloween. We've got carving for Oliver carve.
Well, you're not going to be getting any trick or treaters, that's for certain. Lucky you.
No, but you live in a flat that is like on the fourth floor, so you don't either. So
you hear the buzzer now. Sorry, no. Not in.
For once, I don't have to pretend as I'm not in. I'm just not going to be able to answer the door. Sorry, stay away.
It's alright, we've got masks on, safe.
No, get out.
Yeah, sorry. That's a good joke to end it on. Right, it's been a pleasure.
It always is with you, sir.
Oh,
It always is.
thanks.
And on that note, I've been Reg.
And it's always a pleasure with you, Reg. Sorry.
Oh no, I know it wasn't. I was just literally trying to end it. But you're now the one that keeps it
Sorry.
going.
All right, bye.
Toodles.
Toodles.